Hi everyone, welcome back to Requirements Engineering. Today we will have a brief intermezzo about elicitation techniques. For this, we'll first look into survey techniques, then into creativity techniques, document-centric techniques, observation techniques, and finally support techniques. Here you see a complete overview of what comprises those. So for survey techniques, we can either do interviews with experts or we can do questionnaires. For creativity techniques, we can use brainstorming, a version of which is brainstorming paradox. We can do a change of perspective, which is also called the 6 hats, because you imagine that you're wearing a different hat, either the one of the product owner or the one of the always critical person or the one of the stakeholder who wants to get the most profit out of the product. There are several hats that you can put on. Another technique is the analogy technique, which tries to make use of any analogies that you can find for particular aspects of the project, and that way get new ideas. And finally, the morphological box is another version of this in terms of giving you ideas for certain perspectives that you can use analogies for. And then we have a couple of document-centric techniques. First of all, system archaeology, which means if there is a legacy system, dig up anything and everything that is potentially related to this. Then perspective-based reading means you take on several perspectives of a user, of a quality assurance person, of a future maintainer to get the most out of what you have in front of you. And then there is requirements reuse, because maybe you're developing the 10th version of the same product and there just need to be some updates to some of the requirements. And then there's business process analysis. Business processes are often documented well, and we can make use of those documents to get a pretty good understanding of the usage processes that we'll have to support in the future. Observation techniques are mainly field observation, which is not intervening with what is going on, and apprenticing, which means I'm trying to learn what that future user needs to be able to do. And then I have a couple of support techniques like mind mapping, workshops, CRC cards, audio and video recordings, use case modeling, and prototypes. All of these can be used in combination with some of the techniques earlier on the list. The morphological box is a creativity device that gives you several options to run through a product. So when you look through the process of harvest, then you need a vegetable picking device, you need a vegetable placing device, you need a dirt sifting device, a packaging device, a method of transportation, and a power source. And now you try to fill out several options for each of those devices or techniques. Sometimes this is done by passing on the paper. So for example, I fill out option 1, and then somebody else needs to fill in option 2, and somebody else again needs to fill in option 3. This helps in case you get stuck with finding enough options yourself. In the example here on the slide, person number 4 apparently got stuck with finding further options for the dirt sifting device or the method of transportation because there are no further options given. But in the end, we end up with enough options to pick something from. And that is what goes into our concept, a pick of the best suited combination of devices and methods for our product. Another well-known technique in creativity are mind maps. Mind maps help us organize content. This is often done right after brainstorming when I have a lot of concepts, a lot of keywords to organize. So I can use them for gaining clarity, I can use them to structure, I can make use of links, colors, and images to further enhance the illustrative purposes of the mind map, and I can just develop a personal style or a company style for them. And then we have the Osborne Checklist. The Osborne Checklist is a creativity technique that asks us a number of questions. So, by those questions, we can gain a new perspective. We can check whether we may substitute something. Who else could do that? Where else may they want to do it? What else could they be wanting to do? Could we use another ingredient? Any other material? A different approach? Could we combine parts, units, or ideas? Could we blend two different ideas? Can we compromise on something in this process to make it faster, for example? Can we combine from different categories? Is there something that we can adapt? So, for example, how can this product idea or plan be used differently? What uses could it be adapted to? And then we have the three M's: modify, magnify, or minify. We could, for example, modify the meaning, material, color, shape, or the odor. Could we magnify by adding a new ingredient? Could we make something stronger, thicker, longer, higher? Could we minimize or minify something? Can we split something up, take something out, make it lighter, lower, shorter? Can we put it to a different use? Can we find new ways to use it as is? Or can we find other uses if something is modified? And then we can always ask whether there is something to simplify or eliminate. So, is there a potential to remove something? Can we eliminate waste, reduce time or effort, maybe cut costs? And then can we rearrange something? Are there interchangeable parts, other patterns, layouts? Transposing causes and effects. Can we have changes from positives to negatives or the other way around? Can we reverse any roles in here? Can we turn it backwards or upside down? Is there anything that we can sort in a different way? So all those questions just try to give us a different perspective on something, try to help us find something that we hadn't seen before. And here are the famous 6 hats of Bono. They come in 6 different colors. The white one is a very neutral one about data and information. So this is used to record information that is currently available and that helps us identify further information that may be needed. Then we have a red hat. It's associated with feelings, with having intuition and emotion. And if you wear the red hat, then you're the person who wants to put forward feelings without any justification or prejudice. If you get the yellow hat, you want to have a positive view on things. You always try to look for the benefits in situations. So even in people who usually are critical, that yellow hat puts forward a positive view on the world. The other extreme is the black hat. The black hat relates to caution. It is used for very critical judgment, but you want to watch out because it's really easy to overuse that black hat. The green hat is for creative thinking and generating new ideas. So this is your creative thinking hat. Think about growth, about vegetation, about things organically morphing into something else. And the blue hat, finally, the overview hat, is about process control. It is used for thinking about thinking. So if you wear that hat, you ask for summaries, you ask for conclusions, you ask for decisions. You kind of moderate the process. So those 6 hats can be really useful if you are in a team discussion and you kind of get stuck there. You don't know how to move forward from there. Then you take on those hats to get a different perspective and to loosen things up again. So finally, the requirements elicitation techniques that you want to be kind of familiar with for this course and that we practice in this course are an as-is analysis of existing systems, an analysis of business processes, an analysis of usage scenarios, deriving requirements from goals. We'll talk about goal models next week. Interviews and workshops with stakeholders, observation of users during work in the form of site visits, questionnaires, analysis of documents, templates, prototypes, experts and expert interviews, and creativity techniques. I hope this gives you a good overview of techniques that you are able to use.